Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Yep, that's Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania 39, and I bet you're wondering why I'm showing it to you. Quite simply, it's because this image is incredible. It's an image that shows you how World Wrestling Entertainment loves to outthink itself. It's an image that acts as a precursor to that very same company self-congratulating as if this were the plan the whole time, and it wasn't a massive mistake that required intense amounts of self-reflection and course correction. Also, rubber chicken. Now, does hindsight prove the decision to have Cody Rhodes lose at WrestleMania 39 as the right choice, given that he eventually won the title at the following WrestleMania? Well, it was cinema, right? Just act one of the story, right? Act throw your ones to the sky? I mean, who cares if every Roman Reigns match that led up to his first Mania encounter with Cody, and every match he had leading up to the second, always ended in the exact same way? Who cares if his run was as stale as hot dog buns left to rot in the sun Hulk Hogan style? Yappa pie! Who cares if people were sick of the same bloodline shenanigans week in and week out like it was late stage WCW? Who cares if Cody Rhodes was white hot at the time? Paul Triple H knows what's best for business, and I am sure history will bear that out when he ends up in Super Hell one day for being a bald, carny bitch. Oh my god! Because in the end it didn't matter, Linkin Park style, because Cody finished his story. He won the title 1 year later, hooray. And then he lost it a year after that to someone else who was finishing his story. John Cena. Old John Cena, balding John Cena, limited in the ring John Cena, part-timer John Cena. That's not the point of why we're here. If I was just listing my gripes with WWE booking and, I guess, general day-to-day operation, we would be here forever. Oh my goodness! But why even talk about it? Why bring up finishing the story so well after the book has closed? Well, it's mainly because I wonder if the end justified the means. Did finishing the story justify the bad ending that happened a year prior? Does getting a good outcome make up for getting a bad outcome? Does finishing the story make up for a bad chapter? Looking back on it, I hated this match when I first saw it. Like, the night before, day one of WrestleMania that year had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens winning the tag belts, and that was so great. The crowd was just dancing to some sick-ass ska late into the night, because one of the true heroes of the sport had won gold, and it was well-deserved. But looking back, it really should have been an indicator of what was going to happen the following night. Babyfaces were not winning 2 main events in a row. The entirety of the bloodline was not going to be dismantled at a single event, no shot. No, the final boss would have to wait 1 more year, and I'm not talking about Dwayne. He can join his buddy Paul in Super Hell, because he has it in his contract that he can't lose. What a big, bald loser. What a difference in attitude and vibes. Sammy and Kevin win, people are parading inanimate carbon rod style. Cody loses, people just file out of that shit as quick as they can. Sure, a few marks threw up their ones, but they made sure to get out of there quickly so they could beat the traffic. It was the type of event that when it ends, you just turn it off. Like, oh, it's over, click, I'm gonna go do something else now.
Well, I guess that's it.
If I were booking a card on the level of an event like fucking WrestleMania, the last thing I would want people to be doing at the end is for them to be disaffected and just turning it off or beelining it for the exit ramp. I'll pay the ordinance fees. People will talk about a party. I'm not trying to make up a guy who might argue this, but I'm not saying the good guy has to always win in the main event of every WrestleMania. But it does kind of make sense to a degree, because this should be the event where the biggest good guy and the biggest bad guy are facing off where the stakes are the highest. And if at that event you're going to have the good guy lose, that's fine, but he cannot look like some dipshit tripping over his own dick, which Cody did in that first match against Roman. He fell for the exact same tricks that plagued every Roman Reigns match for the better part of a year. It was like he had nothing scouted. I mean, good God, dude, watch the fucking product. And the match sucked, also, by the way. An oft unremembered part of this WrestleMania encounter between Cody and Roman. I mean, as far as in-ring technicians go, they're fine. I guess Cody's a bit better. It did make rewatching the match for this video tolerable, at least. But even still, I don't think it is a match where either man would say, oh yeah, that's one of the best matches I've had in my career. I mean, it was just a match. They did all of their signature moves several hundred times. It was just a whatever match, the type of match you would see done 100 times in a house show run. And if you're not aware, that is a cutting insult. A Cody cutting insult.
Well, you deserved it.
But as many wrestlers will tell you, it's about the moments more than the moves, and what people remember about this match are the shitty moments at the end, ergo, this match was shit. So they had to change it up when they ran it back 1 year later, because it was almost the exact same. The participants were the same, the moves were the same, it was almost the exact same story that was being told in the ring. There were just more shenanigans and more run-ins. You had balding John Cena, balding The Undertaker, bald The Rock, bald. But at the very end, there were several moments. Cody wins, and Samantha Irving gets choked up announcing a brand new champion. The babyface roster celebrates with Cody on their shoulders. This shit means something to them, man. And it was great. It was a great end to what was honestly a supremely average WrestleMania. But as great as the moment was, does it make the 39 match better in retrospect? No. Did it make the decision to have him lose at the previous WrestleMania suddenly be a good decision? No. Do I even give a shit about Cody Rhodes as a wrestler? Also no. I would probably put half a dozen other guys in the same spot if I were the one with the book.
Daring today, aren't we?
But more importantly, and this is hugely important here, when am I going to segue out of this topic and talk about something that's more relevant? Well, not too long ago, I finished playing a game called World's End Club, a visual novel side-scroller released in 2021.
Hang on tight, 'cause you're all going to play a little game of fate for me.
In World's End Club, you play as various members of the Go-Getters Club, a group of children that are kidnapped and forced into a death game where they have to struggle against each other to survive. The prologue. Yeah, they escape that shit pretty quick, and they realize that their world is in a pseudo-apocalypse, and they have to walk to the right from Kagoshima to Tokyo. And for those who need an American point of reference, and based on my analytics, you do, it's like walking from Myrtle Beach to Boston. And as they walk to the right, the various members of the club unlock singular superpowers that are sort of based on their singular character traits, and they have to use these powers to solve environmental puzzles that prevent them from walking all the way to the right.
This ain't shit. I run 6th grade.
I do have to warn you, I am about to spoil this game in the same way that I spoiled the fact that Cody Rhodes lost at WrestleMania 39, won at WrestleMania 40, and then lost at WrestleMania 41. I am such a heel. As the Losers Club does their tour du Nippon, they obtain a helicopter, as 12-year-olds often do. Luckily, they are able to fly the vehicle because one of their number is an avid gamer. He's a gamer boy, getting that double EXP in Call of Duty through his Mountain Dew Dorito juice. Yeah, he's getting them chopper killstreak counts constant style.
Just because you play Call of Duty doesn't make you a weapons expert.
Yes, it does!
And he flies them past Mount Fuji, which decides, hey, guess what, little kids? I'm not dormant anymore. Get fucked. And then they do. Roll credits, chopper down, all 12 little kids dead in a fiery inferno of steel and rubble. And that is the same, in my eyes, as Cody Rhodes losing to WrestleMania at Roman Reigns 39.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
Surely that's not it. I mean, you have to finish the story, right? Hey, see what I did there? Neat little bow. There's those loose ends gone. You've caught on. Even though the credits have rolled, you got to go back through parts of the game again in order to change some of the decisions that you've made, and then, and only then, can you see everything through to its true end, where several of the kids are revealed to have been robots the entire time that are serving the will of an AI that they're trying to fight against in order to save humanity. The gamer kid wasn't just good at games, because you can't just be good at games. He was a robot, and that's how he could fly the helicopter. The other robot kid, he could throw rocks really hard. Some robots are built to solve quantum mechanics, others slice vegetables really fast. We all have our uses. And then they all lived happily ever after, celebrating their, I don't know, maybe their WWE title runs or something. Ganbate. Now that ending is undoubtedly better than the previous one where they just abruptly perish in an inferno that you don't even get to see. I mean, what's up with that? I want to see the wreckage, damn it. Show me the bodies. Show me the bodies. Spec Ops: The Line is only effective as a game because you get to see the horrors you cause.
What?
Does the good ending justify the bad one? And I find this happens quite a bit in visual novels or similar games with multiple endings. If you get into the role play and you make decisions based on what you might do in similar situations, you know, those situations where you and your friends end up in a death game and then you gotta walk 850 miles, you know, and that happens every day. Sometimes you might unwittingly end up with crappy endings that feel unsatisfying if you're not on the same wavelength as the developer. And given the work of Kazutaka Kodaka, we will never be on the same wavelength, like, ever. Because you're a fucking freak, buddy. But that's why I like you. I'll be honest, 12 kids dying in a helicopter crash as credits roll is an incredibly cheap and lame ending. It came so abruptly and my jaw dropped. I was like stun-locked. You'd think I'd been hit by Stone Cold Steve Austin's signature move. The Thez Press. Oh, Stone Cold don't care about no kids.
What?
Dropped them on no stack of dimes they call necks.
What?
Oh, Stone Cold's not a QTE guy.
What?
Does getting a better ending after forcing you to experience a bad one make the bad one better in hindsight? I'd argue it does not. And my evidence for that is the fact that I was so disgusted at World's End Club for doing that I stopped playing the game entirely and just Google searched what the true ending of the game was. Now, that is not to say the point of all of this is that you can't have dour endings. Can there be no tragedy, Chris, you prude? No, of course not. Tragedy has its place, and not every ending has to be a happy one, but like everything else, it has to be earned. You can have a happy ending that feels like it's a waste of time. Similarly, you can have tragic endings that feel really powerful. For example, in the movie Titanic, you know that it's going to sink at the end of the movie and that Leonardo DiCaprio is going to get turned into an iceberg-themed donut at Honeydew. That's a callback. Watch my other videos, dipshit. Also join my Patreon because I have one. Give dollary dues to me, Plox and Thox. Still, the sinking of the ship at the end of Titanic is supposed to be upsetting, but it is all in one movie. There isn't a Titanic 2 where Rose and Jack go through the exact same scenario and just make a few different decisions and then get to live out their lives happily ice fishing in Chippewa Falls after avoiding tragedy altogether.
You just like have angels fly out of your arses get next to the likes of her.
So, because of that, I tried to think of an example that was similar to both examples I've already given. Cody Rhodes having to wait a year to win at Mania, or having to play through parts of a game a second time so that you can get a better ending than the shitty one where everyone dies. And the one that I came up with was Avengers Infinity War leading into Endgame. And unfortunately, once again, I am afraid I have to spoil these very recent stories for you. You are going to be gutted to know that Coulson was alive the whole time.
What did it cost?
Everything.
Anyway, at the end of Avengers Infinity War, half of everything in the universe doesn't feel very well, Mr. Stark, and turns to goddamn dust. Hilarious. Like watching a helicopter full of children get murked by a mountain.
Arrest that man!
That is how that movie ends. Death, horror, hey, see you next year. And then you tune in next year and they save the day. Purple Josh Brolin gets dusted and everything is saved, at least until the next comic book villain comes along to fuck with our heroes. It's like John Cena coming in after the fact to fuck with Cody Rhodes, or like with the Go-Getters Club having to deal with the evil final boss, an AI that's actually called Mike, that comes to fuck around with them after they defeat Mount Fuji or whatever it is they do. I Googled it, and Google is horribly untrustworthy these days. So why does bad end leading to good end work for Avengers Endgame and not for the other two examples? Well, it's actually really simple. Thanos wasn't beating the piss out of the Avengers with the help of a bunch of jabrones to end every single movie that led up to Avengers Mania. And on the same token, the Avengers weren't flying to Thanos' house to go fight him just for their warjet to get killed out of the sky by an act of gourd.
You are so annoying.
Here's something you might not know. Booking wrestling is hard, writing multi-ending visual novels is hard, and keeping track of a decade-plus long comic book to movie storyline is hard. I understand all that. I criticize because I care. I love all of these things, and I want to see them do well, and obviously it has been multiple years since all of the examples I've given, And things are going fine for all of them. Wrestling, not necessarily WWE because they fucking suck, is as healthy as it's ever been. The creators of World's End Club are making new and interesting games that I'm stoked to play, and of course, the MCU is still incredibly successful. And then you've got me. I mean, since 2021, my subscriber count has gone up instead of down, so the moral of the story is everything is fine. Everything is just fine. Don't look outside. Don't turn on the TV. Everything is fine. This video is fine. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, good, because that was the point. You should check out the links in my description. That will lead you to my other work and my Patreon, which you can join. Support me if you can. Love me if you must. And have a great rest of your day.